Okay, we are here with Father Henri Boulad. He's actually the director of the Jesuit Cultural Center in Alexandria, and previous he was the director of the Jesuit school here in Cairo. With him, we are going to debate a little bit about this election, waiting for the result. I read some articles that you wrote and some interview about you, where during the Maspero events, so last winter, you were afraid for Christians and announced that a lot of them were preparing to leave Egypt. Why are you so afraid for Christians?
For what is happening. Churches have been burned, Christians have been attacked and killed many times since the famous event of the eve of 2010, when the church in Alexandria was attacked and 21 Christians were killed at the time. And the pressure on Christians exists, and the promises of the Muslim brothers, if they take over, they say, you will not have your place here in the country, though we are, as Christians, originally Egyptians before they came. So it's normal that Christians would be afraid.
But did they actually leave, all these Egyptians, leave the country to move in other countries? And how can we see this recent event of these years in a more historical point of view, in a more like in the years before the revolution, for example? So,
in a more historical view, I am a refugee from Syria. In 1860, 20,000 Christians were killed by the Muslims in Damascus and Syria. My grandfather escaped from this slaughter, and he took refuge in Alexandria. He settled in Alexandria, and my father was born in Alexandria, and then he took the Egyptian nationality. But it's not a new thing. My family has experienced what means to be persecuted. So at that time, 1860, thousands and thousands of Christians have left Syria and Lebanon to come to Egypt. At the time, it was a land of welcome, of security, and it has been so for 100 years.
Until when?
Until Nasser. Nasser was the turning
so
point.
So the 50s.
The 50s, then the 60s, then the 70s with Islamism tide, which made people frightened. My sister was in Alexandria, and she has a house, she has a job, she has everything. And in the 70s and 80s, when she saw that the society, the context, the environment was little by little Islamized, and the microphone in the mosque louder and louder and louder, and the women wearing the hijab. So she left. She could not stand. Psychologically, she could not stand. Her best Muslim friends were taking kind of attitude which...
and with Mubarak, I mean?
Pardon me?
With Mubarak?
Yes, it was...
Something changed or not?
No, during the Mubarak era, things were developing in the sense of more and more Islamism. If you take the photographs of the graduations in the University of Cairo, in the 70s, no veil. In the 80s, just a little bit. 90, finished.
But I mean, do you have any numbers after the revolution, about Christians leaving
I have a number,
Cairo?
I have a figure, they say 100,000.
After a revolution?
Yes, that's, but I'm not sure, I cannot guarantee that this number is accurate. It's a number brought by Naguib, Naguib Gabriel. He is the head of the Association of Human Rights in Egypt.
Okay, and where are they going? To Europe or?
Most of them to Canada, to Montreal.
Because it's easy. Okay, and you are also afraid for other minorities that are not Christians, for example, women?
I am afraid of the Sufis, of course, the Bedouins, the Nubians, all these minorities who are marginalized by the mainstream Muslim brother movement. So it's clear that even Al-Azhar is marginalized by the Muslim brothers. The Azhar, who was the head of the reference, official reference of Islam, is now marginalized by these people. It's incredible.
And I mean, now we are close to have the final result of presidential election. But according to me, one of the main important problem right now is that until now there isn't any constitution in Egypt, and the risk is that the constitution will be a kind of prize for the winners. So, what do you think about it?
It's very, very dangerous what's happening, because if the Muslim brothers are the winners, which is most probable, if they are the majority, I heard about 60% in the 100 committee, member committee of the group drafting the constitution. So we will have a constitution marked by the Sharia law, which is a catastrophe. And nobody wants it except these people. Even Muslims resist. So we are in a turning point, and in the near future, I am rather pessimistic. In the long future, I may be optimistic.
And I mean, at the same time, we are now looking for the result of the election, and Egypt is like in front of a nightmare scenario, as you were saying. So, in a one, it has to choose between a candidate that really represents a return to the past. I refer to Ahmed Shafiq, the ex-prime minister of the last Mubarak government, and an Islamist, so Mohammed Morsi, who can really give to the Brotherhood the monopoly of all the Egyptian institutions, so the parliament, the presidency, and a lot of Christians decided from the beginning, so from the first election, to vote for Shafiq. But I just wonder if this choice could create a division between Christians and revolutionary forces, because revolutionary forces will never accept Shafiq. So what do you think?
Not sure. The revolutionaries reject both Shafiq and the Islamists. That's clear. To the point that some of them, Christians, some of my friends, told me I rather prefer Islamists than Shafiq. But these people are a bit, are not thinking. They are taken by their emotions, living on ideologies more than on concrete reflection and objective thinking. To me, if Shafiq takes over, it will not be a get back to the old regime. No. People think because it's Shafiq, we will have a scenario close to what that of Mubarak. First, I don't think so. Second, the Mubarak era was an era of stability and security and prosperity. We have blackmailed Mubarak. It's one-track thinking, and the revolutionaries have been brainwashed in a certain sense by themselves, maybe. So that, Mubarak era, finished, fulul, we don't want. Because people are nourishing the fire and bringing fuel to this fire to blackmail all the old regime. The old regime had a lot of corruption, but I'm sure that if the Muslim Brothers or any other regime would take over, it would be worse than the regime of Mubarak as corruption is concerned.
And I mean also like Shafiq was not the only liberal candidates for presidencies. So there were other candidates like Musa, or there was Sabahi. So why you think Christians decided to vote for him since the first run?
Because of realistic reasons. Amr Musa was too old. Is too old. He's 78. So between the two, Amr Musa and Shafiq, they opted for Shafiq because there is 10 years difference between the two, more or less. Second, in his short mandate as a first minister, prime minister, he did a lot in 1 month. In 1 month's time, he did a lot. I have a long list of his accomplishments during this 1 month mandate.
For example?
Oh, I did not bring it. It's my room upstairs, but I don't remember. But concrete things which has been accomplished during his mandate.
Also for Christians?
For everybody. He did not care about Christians and Muslims, and this is an advantage of this man. He is a secular man, a secular candidate. So, and myself, I don't care about Christians and Muslims. I care about citizenship, equality, justice, freedom. All these are human values. Please, we should not speak anymore about religion in our country. Finished.
Okay, but I have read some newspapers article that said that really some churches really like campaign for Shafiq, and from the beginning there were pressures from the Christians, I mean church, to vote all together for him.
Yes.
For Shafiq. Can you confirm these voices?
Yes, I heard it. I have no proofs, but I heard it from many sides that the churches agreed upon one candidate, because if you had Amr Musa and Shafiq, you would have a dispersion of the voices of the ballots, and then neither would have reached the 50% or almost, which reached Ahmed Shafiq. So you had to decide. Between the two, they opted for Ahmed Shafiq. I was about to vote for Amr Musa myself. But when they told me, concentrate on one man, I said...
But who told you?
People around me. I don't remember people around me.
In the Christian landscape?
In the Christian, yes. In the Christian landscape, yes. So I decided so. And I will, if I vote 2 or 3 days, because I will be in Brussels, I could not vote, unfortunately, but I would have voted for Shafiq.
Okay, and just to close, I think one of your sentences when you said that you are a little bit pessimistic for the actual situation here in Egypt, but that you are more optimistic
on
for
the
in the long run. So